It began as a deep, low-pressure system over the open Mediterranean, but by mid-January it had intensified into a powerful storm with wind gusts above 120 kilometers per hour, making life-threatening conditions along the Italian coastline. Emergency services and meteorologists issued repeated weather news warnings as gusty winds, torrential rain, and storm surge combined to batter towns from the Ionian Sea to the Strait of Messina. This is the latest in a series of unusual extreme weather events in the region. And for residents, the storm's force was both sudden and stark. Harry's development was closely monitored by European meteorological agencies, which tracked the system as it gathered moisture and energy from warm Mediterranean waters before colliding with colder air aloft. The result was sustained heavy rainfall, hurricane-force gusts, and violent seas. Storm surge conditions forced authorities to evacuate dozens of residents from vulnerable areas. Around 190 people were relocated from care facilities and low-lying communities as a precaution. Power lines and trees were toppled by gale-force winds. Emergency crews worked around the clock to restore electricity to outlying villages, while firefighters conducted hundreds of interventions to assist stranded residents. The sun roads along the Ionian coast were rendered impassable by rising water. In some places, state highways were closed entirely as waves overtopped barriers and rainfall overwhelmed drainage systems. Odnaco heavy rain also contributed to flash flooding inland, with more than 100 millimeters of rain in some areas and reports of localized landslides. For safety, numerous municipalities suspended rail services and closed schools. The journal across the island of Sardinia and in Calabria, similar conditions were reported. Rivers swelled rapidly, prompting flash flood warnings. Roads collapsed in sections where embankments failed, adding to travel chaos and disrupting regional traffic. Rail lines in Calabria were suspended after extreme rain undermined track beds, leaving critical links shut until further inspection could ensure safety. The journal. While exact casualty figures remained very low, local officials reported numerous injuries from storm-related accidents, with emergency departments stretched by residents seeking treatment for minor wounds and exhaustion. Vox News Albania official responses were swift. Italy's Civil Protection Department placed Sicily, Sardinia, and large swaths of Calabria under red alerts, the highest warning level for meteorological hazard. La Milano, Cronache Notizia transport infrastructure faced broad disruption. Palermo's airport reported flight cancellations and delays due to strong Sirocco winds, while ferries connecting the islands to the mainland were halted for safety. Thousands of emergency workers and volunteers were mobilized, securing sandbags, reinforcing flood defenses, and operating emergency shelters for displaced families. Explained the unusual intensity of Cyclone Harry by pointing to a rare atmospheric pattern. A stagnating high-pressure zone over northern Europe funneled warm, moist air into the central Mediterranean, where it clashed with cold fronts. This energized the cyclone and sustained its strength longer than typical winter storms in the region. Local authorities continue to warn of flash flood potential in waterways and praise citizens for adhering to safety advisories during the storm's most dangerous phase. As Cyclone Harry finally began to weaken, rain bands shifted eastward and winds slowly subsided. Still, meteorological services cautioned that coastal flooding could persist for the next 24 to 48 hours as battleground seas continued to recede.